Hello, this is the Sports Report here for the 28th of October 2016 and I am Liam O'Grady. It's currently 10 degrees here with a top of 18, so it should be a nice sunny day today. Let's jump straight into it, shall we, with the round 1 of the 2017 AFL fixture. As the fixture did get released yesterday, the first game of the 2017 season will see Carlton take on Richmond in traditional opening clash. That game will take place on Thursday, the 23rd of March 2017. And then in round 2, we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on the Sydney Swans in the grand final rematch, and it'll be when the Western Bulldogs unveil their premiership flag. I can't remember the last time if a team's ever actually unveiled their flag at the Docklands. So I'm not 100% sure if Essendon did when they won in 2000, but apart from that, I don't think any other team has. So good event for Docklands, I think. Then we got round 4, which will be the Good Friday match, the first time ever the match plays on Good Friday, with the Bulldogs taking on North Melbourne. It's good to see those two teams get a marquee match. And this game will be either hit or miss. If no one shows up, the game will be canned and they'll pretend it never happened. If the game gets a good turnout, it will continue for a few more years to come. And then we go down to round 5, the traditional Anzac Day match between Essendon and Collingwood, which will be a much better encounter than last year, with Essendon finally getting all their players back that were suspended. Round 6, on Friday the 20th April, the Giants play their first ever Friday night game against the Western Bulldogs in Canberra, which I think honestly should have been played in their home ground at Spotless Stadium, but I'm not the one creating the fixture. And then on the 14th of May, Gold Coast play Port Adelaide in Shanghai, the first game for premiership points in China. Up until this year, St Kilda played in New Zealand for the last few years. But after a while, that didn't draw a crowd, so they cancelled that. St Kilda is looking to start playing games in Christchurch once they fix up Christchurch after the earthquake a few years ago. So we go down to the Dreamtime at the G, which will be in round 10. And then in round 12, you got the Queen's Birthday match between Melbourne and Collingwood. In round 22, you got the Bulldogs taking on Port Adelaide in the first game in Eureka Stadium in Ballarat for the first time ever. And then you got the 2017 AFL Grand Final, which is the first time since 2013 it will be played in September. The 30th of September 2017. Will it be a day grand final? Will it be a twilight grand final? That's still up for debate. I personally think that the grand final should always be during the afternoon. There's no better sight for me than seeing the grand final played. Nice sunny day at the MCG. I'm not a huge fan of the twilight grand final. That's personally for me, but a lot of people are asking for the twilight grand final, so who knows? Another big news when it comes to the AFL, Gary Ablett, news came up during the trade period. Gary Ablett asked to be traded to Geelong. Gold Coast said no. And I'm not a supporter of the Gold Coast, but I have a lot of faith in the Gold Coast as a club, and I think they're still due to do great things. And I think any time now they will do great things. And I think trading Gary Ablett would not have been the worst thing. There's been talk that either Tom Lynch and Stephen May will become co-captains next year. And I think Gold Coast, unlike GWS, they kind of stuffed up their whole introduction, and getting 2 new captains and building the team around 2 players. And Tom Lynch has already been in All-Australian, but Stephen May could also make All-Australian one day. And then with the likes of Jack Martin, Colin Jasny, Tuke Miller, they've got a team for the future. And I honestly do see Gold Coast, as much as I've said it already, that Gold Coast will play finals next year. I do think Gold Coast will play finals either next year or the next few years. I don't see them as a premiership team. They don't have the likes of the GWS at the moment, but they are looking to be a strong team in years to come. And I think they're better than they've looked in the last few years. After getting delisted on Monday, former Fremantle player Michael Barlow kind of looks like he'll be heading to Adelaide, with Adelaide saying they're being tight-lipped about it, but once the delisted free agency opens up on the 1st of November, you would expect Barlow to be heading to Adelaide, which if you think about it, does make sense considering how they wanted to get Bryce Gibbs. Bryce Gibbs fell through. They do need a strong-bodied midfielder, and Barlow can fit that. He showed in one of his last games for Fremantle when he rocked up the 43 touches, kicked 3 goals against Port Adelaide. So he still has a lot of footy left in Michael Barlow, and he could be the key to what Adelaide need. And like I've said, Adelaide has the best fixture out of any of the premiership contenders, out of Sydney, GWS, Bulldogs, and Adelaide and Geelong. So Adelaide looks like they're definitely destined for a top 4 finish next year with the fixture they have. Two other teams that's actually been benefited by the fixture are two teams that should make the finals next year. And I've said it a few times now to other people that St Kilda, as a club, I think they've grown faster than the club thought they would. 2 years ago, Nick Riewoldt probably didn't even expect to play in a final series towards the end of his career. And if everything goes his way, he could be playing in the grand final in his probably final game. Then Melbourne. I don't think Melbourne's to the point now where they need to make the final series next year. Not for the club, the supporters. It's pretty much, it's the whole thing. If Melbourne do not make the final series next year, I just think it's a fair due for them. And I think as a supporter, if I was a supporter of the Melbourne Football Club, I would hate to be babied. And ever since 2008, every time Melbourne wins a game, oh, good job, Melbourne. Every time Melbourne's come close, good job, Melbourne. I think Melbourne is sick of the good job, Melbourne. I think Melbourne wants to be, wow, Melbourne is a dominant team. And they have the list to be a dominant team. With the addition of Jordan Lewis, which will help them majorly, especially in the midfield, to hopefully get to the final series. And lastly, on the topic of AFL, Xavier Richards, brother of Sydney Premiership player Ted Richards, got delisted by the Sydney Swans after he asked for a trade during the trade period, and he did actually play in the 2016 grand final. So that means Richard and Tom Mitchell, two players who played in that grand final, now no longer at the Sydney Swans, with players like Buddy Franklin and Kirk Tippett getting older with age, and Heath Grundy as well in the backline getting older with age. So Sydney at the moment Sydney and Hawthorn at the moment are in a weird place when it comes to age. They look like they have the list that can go on and win the premiership, but they look like they might have one more chance left in them. I'm pretty sure Hawthorn looked like they had one more chance this year. Now, well, if Jaeger O'Meara and Tom Mitchell do good for Hawthorn, maybe they can make another grand final, but at the moment it's not looking likely for the Hawks. Anyways, we're going to go to a song. We're going to play Birds of Tokyo we're going to play Lantern by Birds of Tokyo here on the Sports Report on 3SSR. And that was Lanterns by the Birds of Tokyo here on 3SSR. Now, time for on Tuesday, it will be the Melbourne Cup, which will be the 156th Melbourne Cup. So there's been a lot of Melbourne Cups in our lifetime. Well, in the lifetime. The favourite for this year's Melbourne Cup is Amained. And last year's winner, Prince of Penzance, will not be racing in this year's Melbourne Cup, so won't be able to do a Makybe Diva and go back to back. Some of the horses in there, I love horses. I love their names. Real Love, you've got Grey Lion, D Little Engine, Tally, Beautiful Romance, Who Shot the Ban, Big Orange, Wicklow Brave, all these good horses. And Melbourne Cup is always a good day, especially for Australia. It's a race that stops a nation, and it's usually a fun day. I've actually never been. I've always wanted to go to a Melbourne Cup race, but I've never actually been. Always been too poor, too busy to go. And this year will be no exception. I'll be watching it from TV, and it's always a good day. It's always good to hear Bruce McAvaney commentate it, and pretty much that's all I've got to say here about the Melbourne Cup. I don't know who I'm going to tip because I haven't really watched. I'll wait till the derby tomorrow, and we'll probably make up our mind then. We're going to go to another quick song, and we'll be back with the A-League/FA Cup here on the Sports Report. That was Rudimental with Not Giving In here on the Sports Report here on 3SSR. I am Liam O'Grady, and it is currently still 10 degrees here in Melbourne with a top of 18, and it's nice and sunny, so it's going to be a nice warm day here. Let's go straight into the A-League after talking about the Melbourne Cup. So the Australian Soccer League. Two competitions on today, this week. You had the FA Cup and you had the normal A-League season. So we'll start off here on Wednesday night. On the 19th of October, Canberra Olympics played Sydney FC. Sydney won 3-0 to be the first team to advance to the FA Cup. Then on Friday, Melbourne City went down 2-3 in a close game, with Andy Cogg scoring the first hat-trick of this season of the A-League, kicking the goal in the 7th, 49th and 85th minute to give Perth Glory the 3-2 win over Melbourne City, which is Melbourne City's first loss of the season. We go down to Saturday at Blue Tongue Stadium. Central Coast Mariners lost 1-0 to the Brisbane Roar, Christensen kicking the goal in the 33rd minute, which it's the 32nd consecutive match where Central Coast has had a goal kicked against them. They have not had a clean sheet since 2015. So 2014, they haven't had a clean sheet since. We go down this Saturday night, and probably they say one of the best games of the year. Melbourne Victory won 2-1 against the reigning premiers. Barisha and Rojas kicked 2 goals, and Tekra Elik kicked a goal in the 68th minute, with Rojas kicking the winning goal in stoppage time with pretty much the last kick of the match. Another one with pretty much the last kick of the match, Nikovic kicked a goal in the 92nd minute to give Sydney FC a 1-0 win over the Wellington Phoenix at Westpac Stadium, which is the Phoenix third consecutive loss to start the year. So not a good way to start the year if you're a Phoenix fan. And on Sunday, to finish off the round, after kicking the first 2 goals of the game, the Western Sydney Wanderers drew with Newcastle when Brugard and Hull kicked the goal in the 81st and the 88th minute to draw 2-2. And we go on Tuesday, you had Melbourne Victory play Melbourne City pretty much a week after they played in the Melbourne Derby. The same result this time though, Melbourne City now winning 2-0 instead of 4-1, with Barton and Brandon kicking a goal in the 99th minute and the 77th minute. So the FA Cup Grand Final will be held on the 20th of November, and it'll be held at AAMI Park between Melbourne City versus Sydney FC. Go to the ladder now. Sydney FC at the moment are having a brilliant start to the season. Perfect 9 points with 3 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Then followed by Perth Glory and Melbourne City, both on 2 wins. Glory has not lost a game, and neither has Newcastle. So there's 3 teams here without a loss. Newcastle is in 4th with 1 win, 2 draws. Victory are 1-1-1. Wanderers are 1-1-1. And Brisbane Roar are 1-1-1. We go down to the loser side. Adelaide United are not the best start when it comes to defending your premiership after winning their maiden one last season. At the moment, have not won a game but have drew and lost 2. Same with the Central Coast Mariners. And Wellington Phoenix are by themselves here at the bottom of the ladder with 3 losses. And we'll head over to, we'll talk about next week's fixture. See if any of those teams can turn their luck around. Wellington Phoenix, I know there's been some talk about Wellington Phoenix not being in the A-League after next season. Hopefully they are. It's good to have a team in New Zealand. Today at AAMI Park, you got Melbourne City will take on the reigning premiers Adelaide. Hopefully Adelaide can get that win they need to kick off the title defence. Because there's only been one team in the A-League at the moment who's gone back-to-back, and that was Brisbane Roar. On Saturday, Newcastle take on Sydney FC. Can Sydney FC continue their run and make it 4 wins in a row? Last year's runners-up, the Wanderers, play Central Coast. Can the Wanderers just get a nil or draw? That's like their goal at the moment. A nil or draw. Not get a goal kicked against them. On Sunday, you got the Brisbane Roar take on Perth Glory, which will be a great game. And Melbourne City take on Wellington Phoenix. And that's all we have about the A-League at the moment. We'll head to another song. And we'll talk about the NBA. Start of the NBA season, which kicked off on Wednesday here on the Sports Report. The Sports Report here on 3SSR. And before we get into the NBA season, Nick Malcheski, the former Sydney Swans player, yesterday announced his retirement from the AFL. Nick Malcheski had 3 knee reconstructions in his career. Played in the 2006 Luton Grand Final, kicked the last goal for Sydney in that game. Played in the 2012 Grand Final, and I think everyone can remember that goal he kicked in the last minute of the game. Played in the 2014 Grand Final before heading off to the Gold Coast Suns to play an extra 34 games, and was a part of the leadership group. He was a part of the Gold Coast team after their 2014 season, which they were on the cusp of the finals, and they thought they were going to make the finals, but life happened, and so far they didn't. Malcheski made the Australian team in his final year at the Sydney Swans. And he also won the Brett Kirk medal for the best on-field in the 2012. 2013. The 2013 game against GWS. And just for this, let's play Nick Malcheski's best moment in the AFL.
Across the middle of the ground just in case. Hawthorn can get that quick kick out.
A grand final from the top shelf. There's the bounce. Both ruckmen hanging on. Kennedy can't emerge with the football. Knocked forward by Savage. Hanbury to Malcheski. Is that the grand final? Sydney are premiers.
Probably one of the best winning goals, best clutch goals, and one of the best grand finals I've ever seen. So Nick Malcheski, who will continue his career at Gold Coast in a coaching role, but he will be a big loss to the Gold Coast Suns. So we go back. 2016/17 NBA season kicked off last week. So it kicked off on Wednesday. And the biggest surprise of the first round was that Golden State Warriors went down to the San Antonio Spurs 129-100. And there was a lot of hype around the Golden State Warriors considering they got Kevin Durant from OKC and they were known as this big powerhouse team. So they came out as this big powerhouse team after being undefeated for the first half of the season last year. To come out and lose was a big loss. Cleveland actually went out as well on Wednesday to defeat New York 117-88 to start their good run after their title defense after winning this year, but last season. I hate sport. I really don't like sports to go on for a year. I like a sport that starts in like March and ends in like September, like footy or rugby. I'm not a big fan of sports that go from like September to February. I don't like 2 years. It annoys me. We go Portland defeated Utah, and yesterday, Dallas defeated Indiana. Miami defeated Orlando. Boston defeated Brooklyn. Toronto defeated Detroit. Denver defeated New Orleans. Charlotte defeated Milwaukee. OKC defeated Philadelphia. Memphis defeated Minnesota. Sacramento defeated the Phoenix. And the LA Lakers defeated Houston. And today, at 10:30, so starting now, you would have Washington Wizards take on the Atlanta Hawks. Also in American sport, the NBL, Major League Baseball, their World Series are now tied with one game each, with the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs. And going by the year with Leicester City, the Western Bulldogs, Cronulla Sharks, all breaking a drought or creating history, over the Cleveland Indians, who have not won the World Series since 1948, or the Chicago Cubs, which have seen Back to the Future, was meant to win last year, has not won since 1908. So no matter who wins this one with 3 games left in the series, it will be a record-breaking win because no one's won in a very long time. And that's why we love sport. We love sport because of the record-breaking. And that's why, especially in footy, people are sick of seeing Hawthorn win because we've seen Hawthorn win pretty much since 08 when they bet Geelong in the 08 Grand Final. Another American sport to go to the NFL. Now, with the last round, we had Green Bay defeat Chicago. We had New York defeat LA. We had Cincinnati defeat Cleveland. Detroit defeat Washington. Indiana defeat Tennessee. I apologize. Kansas City defeat New Orleans. New York Jets defeat Baltimore. Philadelphia defeat Minnesota. Oklahoma defeat Jacksonville. San Diego defeat Atlanta. And New England defeated Pittsburgh. And at the moment, once again, talking about teams that are always on top, New England Patriots is once again on top of the NFL ladder with 6 wins, 1 loss, followed by the Dallas Cowboys with 5 wins, 1 loss. And then you got Minnesota Vikings, which are 1 win, 5 wins, 1 loss. So hopefully for the NFL, another new team gets up there and wins. we're going to go to another song and we'll be back to talk about the NBL and some cricket here on the Sports Report. And that was the Sports Report. So that was Little Green Bag here on the Sports Report on 3SSR. And we'll go to the NBA now. Sorry, the NBL, the Australian Basketball League here. With the Sydney Kings going strong with 4 wins. Perth Wildcats with 4 wins. The Brisbane Bullets with 3 wins. LA 36ers with 3. Melbourne United with 3. New Zealand Breakers, then Cairns, and then Illawarra. I do kind of feel bad for the NBL, because it is a good league. Great games are in the NBL, but just never be as big and never be as watched by Australians as they watch the NBA. Let's go over to the cricket, and in the one-day tournament, New South Wales smashed Queensland actually by 6 wickets. New South Wales were 4 for 188. So Queensland were all out for 186 after 46.5 overs, and New South Wales was 4 for 188 after 43.1 overs. Then they won back-to-back one-day tournaments now, and at the moment you've got Tassie will be playing Melbourne at the MCG in the test competition, getting ready for their tour of South Africa. Also in the world of sport, the women's fixture will be released next year, and their grand final will be played on the Saturday on the 25th of March 2016. So it's good that there is the women's grand final has been announced. It will be an opening to a game, so it will be good to get about that as well. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it's a good game. We'll go to another song and we'll be back here on the Sports Report. This is the Sports Report with Liam O'Grady here on 3SSR. And that's pretty much it for my show today. Just in actually, AFL CEO Gil McLachlan has said, well, he believes personally that 17 teams can make the finals next year, except for one. He does not believe that the Brisbane Lions cannot make the finals next year, but he does believe every other team can. And in some extent, I do believe he's kind of true. I will think there's more other teams like North Melbourne, I don't think can make the top 8 next year. Carlton's still a few years off. I think Collingwood's still a few years off. Fremantle's a long way off making the 8. So it's a bit harsh for him to say that he doesn't believe the Brisbane Lions can make the finals. Like, I don't think he's wrong. I think the Lions are a long way off really anything as a club at the moment. But hopefully for them they can grow next year, and what a surprise. I counted the Doggies out at the start of the 2015 season. I had them in Wooden Spooners. And 2 years later, the Bulldogs are premiers. I know the Brisbane Lions aren't the Western Bulldogs. I don't have the list and the talent that the Western Bulldogs currently have. But anything and everything can happen in the AFL. And looking forward for the 2017 AFL season, no matter where I am, if I'm doing radio, if I'm at home on the couch, or if I'm working in a fast food restaurant, I am looking forward to the next year in sport. And I'm looking forward to the season of soccer and cricket to come. This is the Sports Report with Liam O'Grady. Catch you next time.